Welcome to another test route video. This time I'm at set Albans. I'm looking for possible test centres my pupils can use other than Luton, because Luton has a long waiting time. We're struggling to get test dates. And I'm taking you guys on that journey because I want to help you guys pass with doing hints, tips along the way. I recommend, if you're going to take your driving test outside of your area, to go in that area and practice, go to the test centre, talk to the examiners, talk to instructors, get an idea, an overview of the test centre itself. At this time of filming, the DVSA have announced plans and changes to the driving test itself, which they're looking to bring in the spring/summer months. They have to get it through Parliament, but knowing the DVSA, they will. I will, with the magic of editing, I will do an overview of the changes, and then you can join me back on the other side in the car before we start off. So this is just a quick overview of what the DVSA released at the end of March to make you aware. You probably are already, but there's lots of instructors who've gone into a little bit more detail. I'll put the link in the description below if you want to read it in full detail. Because the stats from February 2023, that's this year, show that around 53%, I'm going to say that again, 53% of learner drivers are failing their car driving tests, and driving examiners are having to physically intervene in 1 in 8 tests for safety reasons. That suggests that more than half are not ready to take their test or drive safely and responsible on their own. Considering a full-time examiner does about 7 tests a day and it's 1 in 8, so they have to intervene. That means they have to verbally help the people out, gone for the brake, or grab the steering wheel. So let me just quickly highlight the bits and pieces. Extending the period that those who fail their car test have to wait before booking another test from 10 to 28 clear working days. If you didn't know, you can, if you fail your driving test, you cannot take another one within 10 working days. So they're now going to extend that from 10 working days to 28. So add that onto the waiting time. The last thing you want to do is go into a test and fail it. You don't go in there to fail it, obviously, but things happen, and that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to do these videos, to give you guys as much help and tips as possible, as well as trying to find another test route or test centre for my pupils. Extending the notice period during which a cancelled car test will result in lost fee from 3 to 10 working days. At this point in time, if you're not ready for a driving test, you should give the DVSA 3 clear working days notice, so you can get your feedback and they can resell it. 3 days is not long enough. I've been on enough tests in recent times, and examiners come out, call a pupil's name, and there's nobody there, and he goes back into his office, gets a free break. That time is lost that someone else could have had. There's this one last bit that I want to point out for you guys as well, which is important. We also consulted on a mandating the displaying of certificates when you take your pupils to test. They're talking about us as instructors, and providing consumer information to learner drivers. These measures will require changes to legislation in Parliament. The timetable to do this is still to be determined. Let me just explain that. When they're talking about displaying certificates, they're talking about us as instructors. We have a green badge or pink badge in the window, depending whether we're a trainee or qualified instructor in the window. That's got to be displayed at all times. Some instructors are taking pupils who are not ready for test and then taking their badge out the window, because every driving test is logged against your instructor's badge. So if your instructor says you're not ready, it's because they don't feel that you're ready to take a test, you're not going to pass it, and they don't want the part or the fail to go on their badge. That's the reason why. They're not saying it because to hurt your feelings, they're saying it because it goes against their badge. But some instructors are charging pupils an arm and a leg to go to test, knowing they're not ready, because of desperation, and they're taking their badge out the window. So the DVSA are trying to bring in what they call a mandate to make it compulsory that we have to make sure we display our badge in the window. So if you go for a driving test or you're on a driving lesson with a qualified instructor who is teaching for money and their badge is not in the window, ask yourself why. I'm going to jump back in the car. See you on the other side. Welcome back. So you now see what the DVSA is up to. So I am on a mission to find test centres for my pupils to get them through the test before the spring/summer months. Definitely when they get a test booked first time, hopefully become the part of the passing rate, not the failing rate. Also to help you guys pass as well. and not go back into the system having to wait the 28 days and another 3-4 months, whatever the waiting time is in your particular area. So as I said, I'm at St Albans, so I'm going to do a St Albans test route to see if it's suitable for my pupils. If it is, I will bring my pupils down here to practice as well, because getting here from Luton wasn't an issue. So I am using local test centres that I can get to within about half an hour drive. The last thing I want my pupils to do is be driving for an hour, and then by the time the test comes through, their brain's frazzled because of all the tense driving and all the rest of it. But anyway, as you can see, I'm at St Albans Test Centre. The test centre is just behind me to my left. I'm in the car park. The car park is very, very small. I would recommend, if you get here early enough, to park up in this bay that I am. There's only 2 cars there, and I'm here. I don't know if you can see that from the camera. There's a car there, and there's another 3 bays opposite me. I would either park up on the one next to the railings or the middle one on that side. If you got here early enough, it's easy to get out. That one's going to be a little bit tight to get out. You may go over the curb. I would imagine if you did, the examiner will give you a little bit of leeway because it is tight and it's the start of your driving test. Also, I'm assuming, because there's a learner on the opposite side of the hedges here that you can see, I'm assuming that's also part of the car park, and probably the layout's the same. So car park wise, I'm not impressed, but it's the start of your test. When you come back, technically the test is over. So coming in, as long as you don't hit anything and scrape anything, you should be all right with the results. If it's a pass, as you come in, and the examiner probably guide you in to which bay to be in, and you don't have to be in one bay anyway. You could be in 2 bays. The wheels could be all over the place, so it doesn't really matter too much at the end of the test. So let's do this test route and see what it entails. So because I can't see past the vehicle, I'm going to creep out slowly just in case a car's coming in. So you still look around, check. Don't ever omit the blind spot checks, regardless. As much as I'm in the car park, you're still looking and checking to make sure it's safe. So it's just literally all clutch control. And then come out. The centre wants me to turn left, so I'm going to just signal now. I would treat this first bit as you give well line for pedestrians, and then treat the second part of it as a give well line for the main roads, and there's nothing coming, so it's all good. And obviously at the time of filming, they've got roadworks going on here, so there's nothing coming towards me.
At the end of the road, turn left, B691, Victoria Street.
So mirrors, signal left, the learner's got to wait, thank him for that.
Turn
Brake,
left, B691,
and just follow the curve of the road.
Street.
Just gonna set my wing mirror back properly. Safe, not really safe to my left because the car's totally on my side of the, not totally, but partially on my side of the road. I don't want to squeeze through that. So it's safe to my right. I can come out, the lights are green. It may turn to red by the time I get there, so I'm prepared for that. Just check my main mirror just in case it does. Cars are parked up on the left, main mirror, right door mirror, and then come out, and that post van's parking. So I'm just gonna ease off the gas, roll down the hill, he's now out of my way, and then I can just gently go back on the gas. I'm gonna check my main mirror, left door mirror, as I just ease back into the left, avoiding the pothole. Speed limit's 30 miles an hour, so that's all good. So I can give it a little bit more gas, just go into 3rd gear.
50 yards, turn right, Albans Road.
So mirrors. And he wants me to turn right. So brakes light down, signal right, 2nd gear. If the lights stay green, I can go. Nothing coming towards me, that's a touch. You would probably love that on your test. They don't have to wait in the middle. And there's room for both of us to fit, so that's all good. And then I can go into 3rd gear, still 30 miles an hour. Zebra crossing, main mirror, scan the crossing from left to right, right to left. There are 2 people walking nearby. Just going to brake slightly just to see if they're going to cross.
After 200 yards, cross the roundabout, 4th exit, A1081.
Car's coming out, so I'm going to let the car out and just slip into 1st gear. So with the pedestrian, I slowed right there because I wasn't sure. There's nothing wrong with slowing down to find out if they're going to cross, but it can cost you a driving test if you don't. So the roundabout wants me to turn left. So mirrors. I'm going to signal left now, and there's a road just before it.
Roundabout, 4th exit.
It says cross the roundabout, but it's turning left. Right, safe, and then go. Second gear.
After 300 yards, cross the roundabout, second exit, A1081, London Road.
Alright, so this one is cross the roundabout, so it's totally straight. So main mirror. I'm going to just ease off the gas slightly. The hedges are blocking my view, so I'm just going to brake, slow it down, and go into second gear. So I've got a better view, get the clutch up. Nothing's coming, so it's all good. And then I can go back into third gear. Guys, they've got a signal on. Oh, that's early, so it's not for me. Right, so looking all the way up the road, working my way back. I must be to turn left soon. I'm assuming it's this left here, so it's mirrors.
After 700 yards, turn left, St Vincent Drive.
It becomes 40 after the post. Just check my mirrors, make sure I'm not going to speed up. A car to my right may come, so I'm not going to speed up just in case it shoots. So with the car coming down, the car can't go anyway. So now I can put my foot down fourth gear. There is space for both of us to fit, even though it's not in the tram lines totally. And in the distance, the lights are red.
300 yards, turn left, St Vincent Drive, then turn left, Foxloft.
Right, so check my main mirror. I'm going to brake firm. Clutch goes down.
Left, St Vincent Drive, then turn left.
So it's this left turn.
Foxloft.
So it's left and left. That's left and right. So let's deal with the left turn first. Break it down in simple chunks. So clutch is up, look into the road, brake, get round the corner. He's waiting for me. Just thank him for that.
Left, Foxcroft,
So mirrors,
then
signal
turn
left.
Right, Rodney Avenue.
Oh, this road's not too bad. I can see them parking you up on the left here. Just don't do it in front of a driveway.
Rodney Avenue.
Mirrors, signal right. Look into the road. This one's a little bit more narrow. This is where you want to plan your get out clause. In other words, where you would stop opposite a passing place for the car to come through. So let's keep it nice and slow, just in case someone opposite the car. I'm doing 20 miles an hour and it's still 30 zone as well.
After 200 yards, turn left, Foxloft.
Right, so I'm just easing off the gas, look into the bend and then come back to see how you're going to get there. Again, is anything coming down? Nope.
Turn left,
Mirrors.
Foxloft.
Signal. Look into the road. And it's narrow. But to be honest, at time of filming, I'm filming at the weekend, so obviously people are at home. On a weekday, there may be less cars, so I'll take that into consideration as well. It's 30 miles an hour, so I can make progress now because the roads open up. But I will come back to do another route. Just because the first one seems okay at the moment, it doesn't mean to say the other routes are. So I will be coming down and doing another video of the test route just to test it out. But at the moment, it's not too bad, it's not too difficult. Nothing that my pupils can't handle or anything that I can't teach.
At the end of the road, turn right, St Vincent Drive, then turn left, Admiral's Walk.
So it's turn right and then left. So let's deal with the first bit. For mirrors,
Turn right, St Vincent Drive.
Signal
then
right.
Turn left, Admiral's Walk.
right, first gear, keeping it nice and straight, safe, and then nice and easy to come out. I think it must have turned left before the light. So it's mirrors,
Admiral's Walk.
signal left. I'm going to just use a little bit of brake so I can look in there. Car's parked up, mirrors as you come out nice and early, nothing coming down. And again, it's still 30 miles an hour with speed humps. What do you do with speed humps? Traffic calming measures. For those of you studying for the theory while you're learning to drive, and it's reduce your speed.
At the end of the road, turn right, Drake's Drive, then turn left, A1081, London Road.
Right, there's lots of two turns together. I would suggest with that, break it down into simple chunks. Do the first one first and deal with the second one rather than trying to tackle both at the same time. So mirrors, I'm going to signal right, I'm going to come back to the left, so if a car comes round and then he wants me to turn left. So this is interesting because there's traffic opposite me. So a car coming down, but it's coming down slowly enough I can get across and then turn left, which is a filter light, so I can still go. I get round the corner, straighten up, no speed limit change. Didn't see one. Oh, but it's 40 miles now.
Cross the roundabout. Second exit, A1081, London Road.
Right, the sat nav says cross the roundabout, but the sign says to the right, so it's going to be to my right, straight lane, left lane. So the arrows say turn left, this is going straight, but even though it's to the right. The signal to come off. So again, the road markings there, it was clear enough, but the sign and sat nav didn't tally. So again, that would be good to come down here and practice that with my pupils on that particular roundabout. And it's still 40 miles an hour. Again, looking at distance, these guys are braking. There's a car too coming out on the left, just in my mirror. Just in case, look at the wheels are moving. That's how you can find clues if cars are going to come out in front of you. So if you're that worried, you can just ease off the gas, slow it down just to find if they're going to do what you think they're going to do. Right.
300 yards, go left on the roundabout. First exit,
So,
A414.
mirrors.
Little Road.
Brake slide down. And then slip into first gear. I'm going nowhere, the lights are red and got quite a few cars ahead of me. And it's interesting, like I said, I'm filming at a weekend. And there's a little bit of traffic, so it'd be interesting to see what that's like on a weekday. So I may need to come down here on a weekday in test time just to see what the area's like. It says keep clear, so I'm going to hold off to see if I can keep it clear. And I can go through without stopping. Don't follow the car in front, because the last thing you want to do is end up in the keep clear box. There's nothing wrong, especially when the lights are red, to just let the car pull away, hold back, and see if you've got enough space to go right through without stopping. So at this point at time,
70 yards, go left on the roundabout. First exit, A414, Orbital Road.
right, two things. At this point in time, I'm handbrake neutral, rest my feet, take a little break. Again, that choice is going to be yours. Just make sure the car is safe. All depends on your confidence, but I'm not going to be going. There's about 5-6 cars ahead of me and the lights are red. So I'm going to have plenty of time to find my biting point, which is just changed. And also clocked a national speed limit sign as well. So I don't know if that's going to be catered for the left turn. So that's something you've got to be aware of about road speed limit change on this one. So second gear.
Go left on the roundabout.
You need a bit of brake to find out where this left turn is.
Orbital Road.
Right, so I don't see another change. So it's 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour for a dual carriageway. Got mixed up there. I'm on a dual carriageway, it's 70 miles an hour.
Yards, turn left, Highfield Lane, then bear right.
A single carriageway 60, dual carriageway 70 miles an hour. I'm actually doing 57, but the reason being I've got a left turn coming up, so I'm not going to overtake him. So I'm going to stay behind. I'm not sure I've got enough in hand to pass him and get back to the left comfortably. So again, if you're not used to speed,
Left, Highfield Lane,
brake
then
firm.
right.
I'm going to go into second gear for this. I don't know what's around there, 40 mile an hour speed. And then third gear, and then I'm going to go into fourth gear.
After 200 yards, bear right, Highfield Lane.
Right, sign says double bend, the black and white sends a sharp deviation. So I'm going to drop down to third gear, use a bit of engine brake, and as I go around, I'm actually doing 25. Now, oh, that's a double bend, so it's another sharp deviation, a black and white sign. So I'm easing off the gas on this one. Again, I'm doing 25. As it opens up, if it's safe, I can accelerate. And those cars are parked up as well. A bit of water, so I'm going to mirror up, brake slide down. Try not to splash as well. I've had a pupil fail for splashing, not intentionally, but still failed for it. So be careful with that. If you can't avoid it, then reduce your speed and drive through it slowly. So I'm back in 4th gear, get my speed back up. The sign says 30 miles an hour, mirrors, and ease off the gas. I'm just going to drop down to 3rd gear, use a bit of engine braking. So you need to be doing the new speed if it's dropping before you get there. And I'm actually bang on 30 miles an hour at this point in time. But as I approach the bend, I'm just going to check my mirror. I'm going to ease off the gas, as I can't see. Now I can see. So as I was saying a little bit earlier, if
The road, turn right, Highfield Lane.
If you're not used to speed, I would definitely get you do some lessons with 50, 60 miles an hour, because St Albans looks like it caters for that. Cars come in, just check my mirror. It's a bit fast he is.
Right,
I'll thank him anyway because he did slow down. Turn right. So mirrors, signal right. Cars coming from my right, so it's going to be 1st gear. Save to my left. After him, I can go get a rolling start. And the road narrows both sides based on the sign. So 30 miles an hour speed limit. Get my speed up. I can't actually see where the road narrows, to be fair, but gave me a warning. I took it on board.
Yards, go right on the roundabout, 2nd exit, Hill End Lane.
So at this point in time, the test route isn't that bad. It really isn't. A little bit narrow in places, but like I said, that could be because people are at home. I'm feeling like the weekend, but I will do another video.
2nd exit, Hill End Lane.
And come down here on a weekday test time. And speak to the examiners as well, speak to some of the instructors. It'd be nice to know where they go for the manoeuvres in terms of bay parking.
After 100 yards, go left on the roundabout, 1st exit,
So mirrors,
Camp Road.
signal left. The van's coming, but I can easily go without causing them an issue. Again, speed humps. If you can get the speed hump underneath the car, you get a smoother ride. I'm going to drop down to 2nd gear,
Right
keep
on
my
the
speed down.
roundabout,
So
2nd
mirrors,
exit,
signal
Ghost
right,
Drive.
brakes light down. I can't see clear to my left, I'm going to go in 1st gear. I can see there, now I can see, just in case the car shoots. Across, and I'm going left here. Car's coming out, mirrors, just ease off the gas while he does what he's got to do. Look into the bend. Just check my mirror, and I'm going to check my left door mirror as I come back into the left. And it seems all clear. It's 20 miles an hour. When the roads was really narrow, it was still 30. Now it's slightly wider. It's 20. Oh, I'm assuming it's because the school's there. Check my mirror, brakes light down, let him come through. Drop down to 2nd gear, keep my control. Now I'm using reflections of the cars either side to pick up any information, because the view was really restricted there. And again, I'm looking in through the windows, reflection. There is a car coming, but I'm fine at the moment. I'm trying to avoid the potholes. Check my mirrors, ease off the gas, and check my right door mirror as I come out. Another car's coming. There's quite a few bends. He's got hazard lights on. I've got no idea what he's doing, so I'm just going to slow down and let him get on with it.
The roundabout, 3rd exit, Camp Road.
When you're not sure what someone's going to do, don't get sucked into their problems. Just stay away from it and find out. I always say it's going to cost you nothing to find out, but it can cost you a test if you don't. And brake gives you thinking time, so don't be afraid to slow it down. Still 20 miles an hour. It's 30 after I passed the roundabout. I'm going to thank him for waiting. That's to me, that's right, not cross the roundabout. Yeah, the signage and the sat-nav doesn't tally with the roundabout. So again, I would come down here if you've got tested St Albans, that is, and just practice that. Just check my mirror. I can use a little bit of brake because it's downhill. It's actually telling me to slow as well. When it says slow on the floor, it doesn't give you a particular speed limit, because the people always say to me, how slow is slow?
After 300 yards, turn left, brakes Ear Avenue, then turn right, Grimston Road.
It's about being slow enough for you to control the situation and control your car on that situation. That's what it means, basically. So again, just checking my mirror as I go over the speed hump. So it's got to be this left. Mirrors, signal left. Just drop down to second gear. Look, oh, I'm going to go into first gear. That van's parked up right on the corner. Ferry test. Should not park within 10 meters of a junction.
After 200 yards, turn right, Grimston Road.
So check my mirrors, I go into the bend. Wants me to turn right. So it's like the end of the road there. So mirrors.
Turn right.
Signal right.
Road.
First gear, safe to my right, not safe to my left. Just double check as he goes, I can get a rolling start. There's a little bit of traffic up ahead. It's also a giveaway line. I'm going to signal left, even though it looks like straight, I'm going to signal left to confirm that's where I'm going. It says keep clear, and he's not keeping it clear. Don't want the learner to go. The cat's closest to the van to try to get out to keep clear. And it's temporary traffic lights at about. This is where you got to be disciplined. No one's letting you go, no one's letting you go. You can't force the issue, so don't worry and don't panic. If someone doesn't let you go, you don't want them behind you anyway. You don't want that type of person behind you putting pressure on you. Because if he's willing to get that close to the van to try to get out to keep clear, then good luck to him. I'm actually going to go neutral, rest my feet. I don't know how long these temporary lights. It's like it's a freeway, I think. I can't see it properly. Like a freeway, or maybe four. So at this point in time, St Albans, it doesn't look too bad. Narrow, but like I said, my people can handle that because Luton is narrow streets and meeting situations. So if they can do that, they could do that here. But as I said, the roundabouts and the sat-nav don't tally in terms of signs. That's a little bit confusing. So a little bit of practice down here to work out what's left and what's right will be beneficial. But as I said, if I decide to use St Albans, I will bring my pupils down here to practice. So I've got my biting point, just wait for them to move, nothing coming, all good. No bites on the inside. It's a four-way, cancel that so I don't look like I'm turning. The road's a bit rough, potholes, mirror, brakes like down because that coach is doing something, it's turning left. There's a pothole there, so I need to come back to the left just to confirm I am going to go. I'm going to let this car out. There's nothing wrong with letting people out as well. A little bit of karma, I'll come back on you. When you want someone to let you out, they probably do it for you. Right, so check my mirror, the cyclist coming, I'm going to just brake slide down, the clutch goes down and then slip into first gear. And it's easy with the clutch. Second gear, I'm not going to race it. Got a pedestrian car coming towards me. I'm going to thank the guy for waiting. Lights may turn to red by the time I get there, so I'm aware of that. So I just check my mirror, and he's turning right. So just ease off the gas, back on the gas, and going up the hill. Car's parked up on the left, main mirror, right door mirror. Nothing coming towards me, so I can come out.
After 200
Commands my position.
you've reached your destination.
And then just check my mirror as I come back. Nice and easy, slip into first gear. Find my bike, don't rush, don't panic. Do a right, so it's main mirror right, door mirror, signal right.
You have reached your destination.
Get back to my side of the road to make it safer for cars coming out. They're turning left, so let him do what he's got to do. And then look into the road, avoid the pothole if possible. Woman's walking in the road with a buggy and a child. So I'm just on clutch control at the moment. She's got no intention of getting out of the road. She's now just realised. I'm not going to make any comments about responsible parenting. and they know that they bring you back in. So like I said, this is the first car park. I'm going to go back into the original car park that I was in. With the police coming down, I'm just going to let them do what they got to do. And like I said, the examiner will probably guide you in until you which bay to go in. And this bit, as long as you don't hit anything, is not really part of the test. So I'm just going to spin it in here. Straighten it up nice and slow. Stop. And he allows you to secure the car, make it safe, and then he will tell you to switch off, and he will give you the result. And I'm going to give you my conclusion as a result. I don't think St Albans is a bad route. It's all right. Little tricky spots, but as I said, for me the biggest concern would be the sat nav and the roundabout signs didn't tally. They use a TomTom. I'm using a TomTom, even though it's via the CarPlay, but it is a TomTom that they use as well. So, is that a big factor? I don't think so. I really don't. The roads are narrow. If you are learning to drive in meeting situation, which is part of the syllabus anyway, in terms of judgment on the DL25 sheet, you should be doing. You should be able to cope with that anyway. So my conclusion on this test route, I think St Albans is going to be all right for my pupil. But I will do another test route, but I probably will come back down here on a weekday when test times, and I can speak to the examiners as well and speak to some of the instructors. The instructors normally bias about their own test centres anyway, but it's just been nice to know what car parks they use to do bay parking and any other little tips they can give me as well. So hopefully that helps you, little tips for your area that you drive in. If you feel that you're ready for a driving test and you live within these areas of these tests, which I'm going to let run across the bottom, and you want a mock test, follow me on Instagram, send me a message, and we'll meet up and we do the best we can to give you a mock test, to give you the best possible chance of passing your driving test first time, or definitely before these DVSA changes come in. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.